Hello. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Bernard Business Consulting. Live Ask Me Anything with Jasin today, and our topic will be CBAM. Okay, so if you are online with me here already, please type in the chat and say hi to me so I can know that who is online. Okay, all right. So I believe you guys are here today because you are affected by CBAM, Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism introduced by the EU. Okay. So at the end of this live session, you will know how to avoid or try to minimize as much as possible on the carbon tax. Okay. All right. So I hope you guys had a good sleep last night because it's the ninth day of Chinese New Year, and the Hokkien people, they are having like a celebration, like a festival for their god. Okay. All right. So yes. So let's see who is online with me here today. Hi Hanif. Hi Fazli. Hi Mafuja. Well, Mafuja is I would say our fans because I've seen her with us, I think since the past two or three live sessions. And hi Faik, hi Nicola, nice to meet you. We have Najiha here. Hi Suhania, and we have Alia. Hi Alia. Okay, we have quite a number of people with us here today. I believe because of the new time. Last time we did at around 1:15, and this time we did a poll, and our audience says that let's change the time a bit. And I think most of you guys prefer after lunch hour lah, which is 2 p.m. and most of you guys are back in the office already. Okay. Hi, we have Yifan here also. Happy Chinese New Year! 恭喜恭喜发财呀! And we have Tan Lim Sun Fu. Hello. So hi everyone. I think we shall start. Okay. So for those who are new with us today, I'll start with a short presentation on the topic of the day and followed by Q&A. Okay. So I believe that I want to give you guys a lot of time for questions and answer. So I'll try to keep my presentation short. Okay. All right. So let me share the screen. Okay, so before I share my screen, I just want to let you know that this live webinar is a bit special this time because we are giving out 3 free tickets for our upcoming CBAM online workshop. Okay, all right. So I'll let you know the date is on 20th February 2025 from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. at so it's this timing for 4 hours, and the original price of the ticket is 450 ringgit. So if you want to know how to win free tickets, remember to stay until the end and I will share with you how to win it. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so for those maybe you know about this event when your friends share it to you, you saw it on your LinkedIn post, but I just want to let you know that if you are new to us, we are Bernard Business Consulting. So I have our domain up on the screen, bernardbc.com. You can go there and check out our company. So we are a one-stop ESG and sustainability solution provider, meaning we give you solutions, we can help you with consulting work, reporting, and also training. And me, myself, Jasin, I'm the ESG and sustainability consultant and trainer, which is a HRD certified trainer lah, at Bernard Business Consulting. Okay. So the agenda of today is I want to keep it simple because a lot of you are here, you are new to CBAM or you know a bit about it. So I want to solve your questions of what is CBAM? What is the impact? Who is affected? Okay, so we will explore the emerging sustainability trends and the compliance measures for EU CBAM, and we will examine the key implications of CBAM, and also we'll try to look into the insights on navigating the transition towards low carbon production because we know that at the end it's about carbon tax. Yeah, and remember when I say that you guys are here because you are affected. So you might say that, oh no, I'm consultant, I'm not affected. I might even earn money from this, and you say, oh, I'm a consumer. I'm not from the iron and steel industry manufacturer. I'm just here to learn something new because I think that, oh, maybe they will expand the scope to plastic industries or marine. We don't know. Okay, but I want to tell you that everyone here in front of screen, you and me, we will be affected by CBAM. Why? Because CBAM is somehow like a carbon tax. So when there's a tax, you can expect that the cost of product will increase. Okay, so when the cost increase, the company will have two options. One, they are very kind. They will absorb the fee themselves. Okay, they absorb the cost. The second option is they will transfer the cost to consumer. So there are two possibilities here. And I want to throw a question to you. Do you think which option has the higher possibility? Will the company absorb the cost or will they transfer the cost to the consumer? Okay, you can let me know about your opinion in the chat. Okay, we'll try to make this live session more interactive so that there's a two-way learning because you guys are the operational people, you guys are in the industry. I have so much to learn from you as well. Okay, all right, so as usual, I will tell you when is our next live Ask Me Anything. It's in March, 4th of March, and it's on a Tuesday. So I see that we have quite a good response here today. We have 24 people online with us today. It's a new record, okay? So we'll keep it to the same time, 2 p.m. to 2:45 p.m. Okay, so a little bit introduction to CBAM. So what is this carbon border adjustment mechanism? Wow, so difficult to understand. Carbon, is the carbon dioxide. It's a short form. We call it carbon border, meaning because this legislation is introduced by EU, so it somehow is like people sometimes call it a trade protectionism mechanism. Okay, so and they try to adjust. What are they trying to adjust? Carbon pricing. So it's a mechanism introduced by EU. It's a tool to put a fair price on the carbon emitted during the production of carbon intensive goods. So what are the example of those high risk industry? You have cement, iron and steel, aluminium, fertilizers, electricity, and hydrogen. Okay, so now is the question, why EU wants to do this? Okay, so there are a lot of discussion or even controversies happening, especially at the World Trade Organization. They say that you guys are doing some trade ban or trade protection on other non-EU countries because you want to protect your country's economy. That could be one. Or EU says that they want to encourage cleaner industrial production in non-EU countries. It's for the environment. It's to save the world for our future generation. Okay, so it really falls down on how do you perceive this new policy, I would say. Okay. All right. So as I'm from Malaysia, okay, so we are a export-oriented country, and I believe that we have a lot of manufacturers from iron and steel and also aluminium in this live with us today. Okay, so later on, I will also share a bit of insights which are more related to the iron and steel industry, and particularly in Malaysia. Okay, so let's have an overview of this EU CBAM regulation. It actually started more than a year ago, 2023, back in 1st of October. So now we are in the transitional phase because when the government they want to introduce something new, people might get shocked, a new change. So we need some buffer time for people to get used to it. And if they have any challenge, they have any questions, they will like somehow settle it during this transitional phase. So if you visit CBAM official website frequently, you can see that they are continuously updating their reporting templates, their registry portal, because there are feedback from the consumer, from the manufacturers, from the importers. Okay, so at this time being, importers only needs to report GHG emissions embedded in their imports, direct and indirect emissions, which is the scope 1 and scope 2, quarterly. So every 3 months, one report. That's it. There's no penalty yet. I'm sorry, no penalty yet. Okay, so what happens after that? So starting 1st January 2026, it's happening very soon. We have 11 months to go. So it will become the definitive regime. Okay, so what now? Now you will need to declare the emissions and also surrender corresponding number of certificates. Wow, what certificates? ISO certificates? No, here the certificates actually means carbon tax. So you need to start paying for the carbon tax. Okay, so the price of the certificates is depend on the weekly average auction price of EU emissions trading system allowances. So it will be priced in euro per ton of CO2. Of course, now is 2025. So there are still a lot of changes happening. So just for your knowledge, they are now opening a new portal section for installation operators outside of EU. Last time, they only gave the portal access to importers. Now they are giving the portal access to installation operators as well. So who are the installation operators? The manufacturers. Okay. And next, so they want to control who has the access to this portal. So if you are the one, then you can apply for the authorized CBAM declarant status. So what's after 2026? So let's look a few years ahead. I put the timeline there, 2030. Okay, so we can expect some changes in the product scope. So EU actually mentioned that there is a possibility of including certain downstream products covered by the EU ETS. Example, marine in the marine industry or even petrochemicals product. Okay, and here you can see the word GHG emissions. Then you could be thinking about the 7 types of greenhouse gas covered by the Kyoto Protocol. But if you look into the CBAM regulations, you can see that actually they only covered 2 type of the GHG, which is carbon dioxide and perfluorocarbon. Okay, so for iron and steel industry, you will only need to declare the amount of carbon dioxide emissions. So you can exclude the methane, you can exclude the nitrous oxide. Okay. Now let's look at the impacts of CBAM on businesses. Number one, of course, is the increased cost for importers. Now here's the tricky part. Will the importers absorb the cost or will they transfer the cost to the manufacturers? Of course. So now even manufacturers have to think, how to decarbonize? I need to reduce my carbon emissions. Okay. So let's put in a scenario. Sometimes when we have clients, that they receive queries from their customer asking for CBAM report, and then they tell their top management. Top management says, it's okay lah. They are not going to do us anything. Just leave it. And then, the sales manager, the sales account people, they will be very kanchiong. Kanchiong means very nervous. They're very worried whether will I lose this customer or not. So if, let's say, you want to, how to persuade your top management to buy your idea to implement CBAM reporting, you need to speak money with them because the bosses, they talk in money. Okay, so we have to lay out the business case for this CBAM. So let's say average price of the EU ETS allowances now is around 65 euro per ton. And based on our experience calculating the product carbon footprint of our iron and steel product client, for their product carbon footprints is around 2 ton of CO2 per ton of product. Okay, so 2 ton. Now, if you are about to exporting around maybe 1,000 ton of this steel product to the EU, then it will cost you. I put in the maths and the calculator told me that you need to pay around 130,000 euro, which is equivalent to 650,000 ringgit Malaysia. Only tax, it's just a tax. This is the amount you need to pay to the EU government if Malaysia don't have a carbon tax mechanism. That's why in budget 2025, our Prime Minister say that, okay, we don't want to pay so much money to other country. Let's start to have some carbon tax mechanism in our own country first. So this I will tell you later on what is the impact. Number two is the trade distortions. As I mentioned earlier with you, there's a controversial issue around CBAM on World Trade Organization, particularly because they perceive this as a protectionist and it will distort the international trade dynamics. So if the EU manufacturers, when this legislation run on the definitive regime, they will benefit from the free pollution permits and it will risk non-EU countries, non-EU exporters like us, like from the Malaysia, okay? But there is also research saying that when this CBAM is introduced, actually the CU customer, they don't pick their supplier from the EU just because of this. So I would say that this is something for us to see. We need a longer time to see how will this really affect the trade dynamics for the international trade. Number three is the shifts in global supply chain. So if let's say the countries that export these the 6 categories of product industries that is affected by CBAM, then they would invest in domestically instead of investing or like setting up new factory in non-EU country. They might move their manufacturing facilities back to the EU. Again, this is something that we need to see if it will really happen, because it's somehow still a prediction. And I mean, for the long run, if let's say only EU is doing this, they might move back their manufacturing facilities. But if let's say other countries like Japan, China, Australia, South Korea, Malaysia, we start to do or even increase the stringent, make our climate policy carbon tax more stringent, and maybe we might not see such shifts happening so soon. Number four, of course, this is always the headache, the problem that we hear from our clients, the increased regulatory compliance burden, not only on the administrative burden, but also investment in monitoring and reporting system. Okay, so now when you want to ship a container of screw into the EU, last time you just prepare, whatever document that the business document that you need. Now you need to add one more paper, declare what is the quantity of your product and what is the carbon dioxide or greenhouse gases embedded in your export quantity. Okay, so another administrative burden. Well, how do you produce out this one piece of paper that you are going to hand it to the custom? You need experts, consultants like us, Bernard Business Consulting, to help you to accurately calculate the emissions data. So that will need an additional cost. I would say it's an initial investment, and later on, let's say if we help you and we transfer the knowledge to your staff, to your employees, and actually you can do it yourself, and maybe you just need us to help you to audit. That's it. And number five, of course, number one, two, three, four seems like a negative impact, right? That is positive impact also. That's why I keep it to the last. Okay, so the positive impact is the opportunities to decarbonize. A lot of people are asking, okay, EU, you are giving out this stick. You are giving out this stick to punish people, to incentivize them to, for them to adopt a greener practices. What about, do you give out any carrots, any incentives? Here, this one, I cannot help you to answer lah. This one goes back to the EU. So what are they going to do with the money collected from the CBAM certificate, the carbon tax? Okay, but if we look back ourselves as a manufacturer, as a operation people, actually by decarbonize, not only you save on these compliance costs, but you also make your resource more efficient. You reduce your utility costs, you can reduce waste. So there are a lot of I would say not like side effect or indirect positive impact that you can get from this decarbonization journey. Okay, so if you see any more impacts of CBAM on businesses that I didn't cover, please tell me in the comment. I would love to learn from you as well. Okay, so now let's see the sustainability trends in the iron and steel industry. So I get this information from the World Steel Association. As you can see, people in the iron and steel industry has been talking about energy conservation, decarbonization for many, many years, even before CBAM is introduced. They are measuring their product carbon footprint from its operations and the use of its products. So try to reduce the energy requirement of the product. Number two is circular economy. So as we know that iron is a non-renewable resources. You can mine as much as you want, but one day it will finish. Okay, so people in this industry is also trying to reduce, reuse, remanufacture, and recycle their product. And number three is they are coming out with innovative technologies, particularly our CCUS, carbon capture, utilize, and storage, sustainable biomass for the heating, hydrogen as a new fuel for their what we call the furnace, okay, and also electricity. So my transition from coal, from natural gas to electricity, because we can generate electricity from renewable sources like wind, solar. Okay, now I have a question for you. So from these three trends, tell me a similarity, between these three trends. Tell me in the comment. Okay, so let me have a look at the chat. Hi, Juren. We have new people coming in. Oh yes, Julian said that the company will transfer the cost, will charge the customer. I personally believe so as well. As you can see, after some F&B companies, after they are listed, on Bursa, wow, then they start to charge higher service tax to the customer for dining in. So that's the trend that we see lah. Okay, so let me reveal the answer for you. The similarity is carbon. If you look at decarbonization, it's very direct. You can see the word carbon in decarbonization. For circular economy, we are talking about waste. So if you remember in scope 3, we also calculate the waste, the emissions from waste generated. And if you look at innovative technologies, we are talking about alternative fuel. It also boils down to which fuel produce lesser carbon emissions. So actually, we are talking about waste, energy, everything goes back to carbon. So we can see that that's why carbon pricing, like carbon tax, carbon trading, is the trend moving forward. Okay, so here I will tell you the strategies on how to reduce the risk, mitigate the risk in the later slides. So now let's look at the global like an overview of the total production of crude steel in 2023. So we can see that China, India, Japan, we can say that these are the top 3 countries that are affected by CBAM. And Malaysia, we are ranked at number 21. Okay, and we only contribute approximately 0.4% of global crude steel production. It looks little, right? Very little. Okay. So here I extracted a data produced by Trend Economy and also Kazana Research Institute, okay, by Mr. Yin Xiaolong. So this is the potential CBAM exposure of Malaysia's export to the EU in USD billion lah, okay. So you can see that in 2023, Malaysia's total export to the world is around 312 billion, and to the EU. So what I mentioned, the first point is the biggest circle here. So how much did we export to the EU? It's around 18.6 billion USD, which is the second circle. Wow, very little. Okay, it's the fourth. So EU is our fourth largest trading partner. Okay, so now let's look at actually out of these exports to the EU, how much is affected by CBAM? Bam! This little cute pink sticker over here, it's just this little, okay, which is around 1.5 billion USD, accounting for around 4.6% of the total exports to the EU. Okay, and so if you want to compare our exports to the EU affected by CBAM and the total exports to the world is only around 0.4%. Okay, and if you're gonna ask me, okay, out of this 0.4%, this 1.5 billion, how much is the iron and steel? So it's around 0.7 billion, constituting around 3.7% of total exports to the EU. Of course, not all iron and steel exports are affected. Only a certain CN codes, or maybe you are more familiar with HS code, they are affected. And later I will show it to you. So here you can see that the impact of CBAM looks negligible. I even have clients that tell me, yeah, if I only export like a very few amount of my product to the EU, I can actually neglect this CBAM, because CBAM actually tells that I forget what is the figure, but it's around 150 ton, if I'm not mistaken, the unit. Then if you export lesser than this amount, then you are not affected by CBAM. If you export above the threshold value, then you will need to comply to CBAM. So some of them tell me, yeah, even if I exit the threshold, then I only get charged of this little carbon tax. It's okay. It's even cheaper than me hiring a consultant to help me to do this CBAM report. But I'm going to tell you, no. It's not about the carbon tax, the amount of money you need to pay. It's the business, okay? If you are not going to comply with it, you are going to lose this business. And if you say that I can always find new customer out of EU that are not affected by this CBAM, well, I'm going to tell you that actually EU is not the only country that is going to implement CBAM. There are more and more rich countries, our Malaysia trade partners, that are also looking into launching a similar mechanism like CBAM. Okay, so these are the example of iron and steel products affected by CBAM: fastener, bar and rod, hollow, hot and cold rolled coil, and even wire. So here on the corner, I've listed down the CN code. So you can go back to your company, check the HS code of your shipping to the EU. If let's say the first 4 digits is shown here, then you will need to comply to CBAM. Okay. Yeah, so what's waiting for us after CBAM? More carbon taxes. As I told you, countries like Japan, South Korea, Singapore, they are doing so. And Taiwan, they are also telling that they are going to start collect carbon fee in 2026. It's official. We have Indonesia that are working on carbon tax regulations, same as Malaysia. And Thailand, they are already their cabinet already approved the collection of carbon tax. Okay, so I forget what is the number, but it's quite high, around a few hundred Thai baht. Yeah, their figure is even higher than Singapore. Singapore is currently collecting 5 Sing dollar per ton, but Thailand is charging at a higher carbon tax than Singapore at this moment. Okay, and also UK is also looking into this carbon pricing mechanism. So what I want to tell you is that of course you can always shift your supply chain, but you can't run away from it forever. You say, okay, maybe these two next year I can find more customer in the US, I can find other customer in the Australia, but those rich countries, as I mentioned, Australia, Canada, South Korea, Taiwan, UK, US, they have already showed interest and considering to do something similar to CBAM. So you can see that now the impact of CBAM looks very small, but if you combine it, then it could be a significant impact to Malaysia because we are an export-oriented country. Okay, so the strategies for you to prepare for carbon tax. So now let's talk about strategy. Number one, awareness. That's why you are here with me today. And I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you for joining us here today. Okay. So you took the initiative to attend this live. So other than attending live from Burnett Business Consulting, you can always attend our trainings and workshops. We have our upcoming CBAM online workshop on 20th of February. Okay. And you can keep yourself up to date to news. You can always check out the CBAM official website by the EU Commission. You can also subscribe to Burnett Business Consulting newsletter to make sure that you did not miss out any news update from us. And you can do some upskilling, send your employees to training. You can hire a consultant and then work hand in hand together so that your employee can learn the most from them. Okay. Next, if you have the awareness, a little bit is enough because some people they're trapped in the awareness stage and they do not dare to take a step further to move into the monitoring stage, which is start to do the reporting. Okay, so if your company is new to CBAM, okay, I'll tell you that it's the same as the normal GG inventory or product carbon footprint assessment that you might already heard of. It's not difficult. They are using the same data source, just that you need to understand the CBAM regulation and plug the data that they want and put into a report. That's it. Okay. So at Burnett Business Consulting, we also provide those reporting services consultancy work for ISO 14064-1, ISO 14067 for product carbon footprint, and we have AI software, our in-house AI software to help you to integrate and make the reporting seamless. Okay, and what's best? We also have Internet of Things technology, IoT, to directly automate the data from your machine. Fuel consumption, electricity consumption, so that it saves you a lot of time. And finally, Burnett Business Consulting, we started as a solution provider company. So we have the decarbonization solution that can help you with energy efficiency, look for alternative source of energy, help you to improve the productivity, waste reduction, circular economy, and supply chain management. So actually, the strategies to prepare for carbon tax is very easy. Get yourself knowledgeable of the topic, start taking action, okay? And next is improvement. Because when you start to report the next year, of course, your customer, the government will start asking you another question. What's next? Do you have any improvement? So that's where decarbonization solutions come in, and Burnett Business Consulting, we can help you with it. Okay, so yeah, this is our upcoming online workshop on CBAM on 20th February. It's at the cost of 450 ringgit per pax. Okay, and after the Q&A, I will let you know how to win the 3 free tickets. Okay, so now let's move on to the Q&A session. Okay, I have already put up the CBAM workshop QR code on the screen. So if you want to know more about this CBAM workshop, you can scan the QR code and it will lead you to our web page. Okay, so let's look at the chat. Wow, when I'm busy presenting, I can see that the chat is very meriah. By the way, meriah is a Malay word which means happening. I know that we have some international audience here with us today. So yeah, let's teach them some Malay word as well. Okay, we have questions from Akmal. Akmal asked that, do you have any session in your company on EU taxonomy and CSRD? Yes, Akmal. So for CSRD and EU taxonomy and also SVTI, we have the expertise to help you with that. So you can check out our page shared by Bernard Eng, our founder and CEO, in the comment. And here we have a comment from Sun Fu. So Sun Fu shared his opinion. Carbon emissions reduction should reduce the cost of production. You are correct. It will increase the I would say investment cost or capital cost. But in the long run, if you look at the long term, 5 years, 10 years time horizon, it actually reduces your operational costs. However, he says that, he says that the company shouldn't transfer the cost. However, green premium is acceptable if can show the emissions reduction. Yeah. So based on some market research, actually there's awareness or intention of consumers to buy green product at a higher cost. But there's also a research that shows that there's a gap in the intention and behavior. People might say that they want to go green, they want to buy sustainable product, but if you look back at their spending behavior, they still choose the cheaper option. But of course, we can see it as a positive things that people are starting to have the idea, to have the intention. It's just the matter of time for them to take the action. Thank you, Shunfu, for sharing your opinion. Wow, I like today's crowd. You guys are very supportive, very happening. Okay, we have a question from Hans Peter. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Okay, are semi-finished good also affected by CBAM? Yes. The answer is yes, as long as your shipping HS code, CN code is listed in the CBAM regulation. And from the examples that I showed you just now, actually most of them are semi-finished good, are some construction material that is exported into the EU and used by the contractor, by the manufacturer to produce the finished product. And here we have another question from Junren. CBAM impact on raw material like billet, extrusion bar, semi-good stage. So this question is similar like Hans Peter. Yes, it's affected. So Juren, what I can tell you is that go back and find your your staff, your colleague in the shipping department and check the HS code. If it's affected and you don't know what to do, you can always come back to me. Can text me on LinkedIn or you can call me at 0380819069 to talk with me, and I think I can help you with that. Okay. Okay, looks like we don't have any more questions. So drum roll. Now I will tell you how to win the 3 free tickets. Eh? Oh, I have a new question here from Alia. Can you share a bit about your upcoming CBAM event? Yes, of course. Can you see the QR code here? Yes, just scan this QR code and it will lead you to our webpage. Or I can have my colleague Rui will also type in the chat the link for you. Okay, I have the course outline, who is the trainer, me, okay, on the webpage. So if you have any more questions on like how to apply for HRDC grant, I can help you with that. It's 100% claimable from HRD. Okay, so again, how to win the 3 free tickets. Let me tell you. Okay, let me get the text ready. Are you ready? Okay, because I am. Okay, now win a free ticket to our CBAM online workshop worth 450 ringgit, man. Okay, so it's very easy. Simply share with us. It's like an essay question lah, back to SPM karangan, okay? What motivates you to make the world a better place? Okay, so tell me your story, okay? Write it down. Email your answer to academy@bernardbc.com. Okay, so including your full name, company name, and also contact number. All right, so I think we will be accepting the entry until next week. I will tell you the date in the comment, so you can come back later to check when is due date. But I tell you, what is the answer that pop up in your mind 0.1 second when I tell you this question? That's the answer. Stay true to yourself, okay? So it goes back to you how you want to tell me your story, because when we're talking about CBAM carbon tax, actually what is the intention, what is the motivation? It's of course about climate change. And we might not feel climate change in this when I'm still alive, okay? But maybe my daughter, my son, my grandchildren, they are the one that will be facing this problem. And I hope that before I leave this world, I want to make it a better place for them to live. Okay? All right. So I'll be waiting to receiving your story on what motivates you to make the world a better place. Okay, so yeah, that's it. So if you have any more questions, you want to scan the QR CBAM workshop, so you can scan the webpage for more information. And yeah, that's it. Oh, I think I have one last question since I still have 1 minute. Let me quickly answer that. It's from Shunfu. Can we use domestic voluntary carbon credit to offset CBAM? For this, I'll tell you that we need to track back the criteria, because some of the carbon credit, we need to make sure that it's from a reliable sources, okay? But so far from the carbon offset is can. From what I know is you can offset, because it meaning that you already pay a certificate in your country, okay? So it's either carbon tax or carbon credits that you purchase specifically to offset the amount of emissions embedded in this product. So you have to make it very, very, very clear. Okay. So if you want to know how to do the carbon credit trading, how to buy the carbon credit, you can come to us as well. We can help you with it. We even have an AI software that can help with you to do the carbon trading. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you very much for joining. And I'll see you in the next live session on 4th of March. Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.